joined by Gaza-based activist, Brother Abdul Karim. Brother Abdul Karim, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome and Jazakallah khairan so much. And I've actually seen some video clips come through. I've seen celebrations that are obviously taking place in Gaza. And obviously, this comes after two very, very difficult weeks. But the Palestinian resistance today, because what we're seeing, the ceasefire, has obviously been a major victory for the people of Palestine and the people of Gaza, Brother Abdul Karim.
Yes, the ceasefire, which was reached by Egyptian, it was an Egyptian brokered ceasefire, but the ceasefire really does not mean a ceasefire because the siege on Gaza that has been in place since 2006 will continue, and the occupation will continue. So it's let's say it's not about ceasefire or calm, but it's about a hold on Israeli attacks on Gaza, which happens from time to time.
Well, certainly, and obviously, we can't take this for granted because we know in the past and historically, we know about the brutality of this Zionist state. And this obviously does not mean the end of Israeli occupation and brutality. But just looking at Gaza today, and if you could just give us an idea as to, what is Gaza like today?
According to the UN, let's put things in context. According to the UN, Gaza was deemed uninhabitable in 2020, and we are now in 2021. Almost 2 million people live in Gaza. At least 1 million of them are children. So while people were fasting Ramadan and are about to celebrate Eid, then Israel chose to bomb the hell out of Gaza, and for 11 days we have been living in terror. Literally, it was terrorism from the Israeli aggression. We are talking about nearly 240 Palestinians were killed, including 65 children, 39 women, and 17 elderly people. Almost 1,700 people were injured. We are talking about an estimated number of 1,400 housing units completely destroyed by Israeli airstrikes. We are talking about homes, mosques, and healthcare units were completely destroyed. And amid the COVID-19 crisis, which has hit the globe, Israel has bombed and made the one and only COVID-19 testing lab dysfunctional in Gaza. The one and only testing lab in Gaza was made dysfunctional after an Israeli strike hit the building. So the situation is very serious. Now the electricity is 4 hours a day. Gaza is almost uninhabitable, and Israel left Gaza a place that you can't live in.
Yes, and obviously, we feel that, and we've seen all the destruction that has been caused by the brutality, by the brutal shelling of the Zionist entity, Brother Abdul Karim. And, although many of us feel some sense of relief, but at this point in time, it is about picking up the pieces. It is about the people whose lives have been lost. It is about the families that have been left behind. It is about the little orphans. And this is where the greatest challenge is. And I think the key issue here at this point in time is with the crossings, with the blockade of Gaza. Obviously, it makes it very, very difficult to rebuild or to even try and repair the damage that has already been done.
Yes, as you said, these are not just numbers. These are people. They have families. For example, let's talk about the massacre in a Shata refugee camp. When Israel chose to attack Abu Hatab family, where 10 people were killed. 8 children and 2 women were killed and wiped out. They were killed while they were wearing Eid clothes. So basically we're celebrating Eid, and then an Israeli bomb just fell over them while celebrating Eid and wearing Eid clothes. So these people who are dying in Gaza are humans, and they deserve to be respected, and not just numbers that we just talk about them.
Yes. Now, what was most encouraging is when one looked at the worldwide outcry and the outrage at the brutality of this Zionist entity, and we've seen it right across the entire world. We've seen so many more people this time around. We've seen protests in almost every major city, with the exception of obviously a few countries like the Arab world, and we've seen nothing in the Gulf countries, in the like of Saudi Arabia and the like. But we've seen so much support for the people of Palestine. We've seen it at events like major soccer events, where we've seen players playing for some of the big clubs right across the entire world, proudly displaying that Palestinian flag and proudly showing off their solidarity and their support for the people of Palestine.
We are really thrilled, and really thank everyone who took part in the demonstrations and the protests. That, as you said, over the globe, people were protesting for Gaza. They are protesting the genocide and the massacre that the Israelis are committing in Gaza, and we really thank every one of them. And it makes a difference when you see protests all across the globe. They are pressuring their governments to act, and then you have governments asking the Israelis to stop the massacre, to stop the genocide, to solidarity work. And we really feel the warmth of this solidarity, and we believe that by having people acting and taking action, that would help Gaza. And we've seen many people taken to social media and talking about this on Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. All of them are tweeting and posting about Gaza. Hashtags like Gaza under attack were trending globally across the globe. Gaza under attack was trending. Save Jerusalem, save Palestinians, save Sheikh Jarrah. So these were really messages of solidarity that we are proud to have, and humbled actually to have to see this solidarity.
Well, Alhamdulillah, and inshallah, this solidarity will continue. The campaign for a free Palestine, for a free Gaza, must still continue, and the pressure must be kept on all the time. And inshallah, we hope that we can build on the solidarity that we've seen right across the entire world for bigger things to come, inshallah, for the freedom and the liberation of the people of Palestine. Brother Abdul Karim, Jazakallah so much for that, for your time with us this morning here on Assalam Media. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, and my greetings to you and the people who are listening.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
A strip of land with over 2 million people blockaded for 13 years. Healthcare is on its knees, food is scarce, and water is inadequate. COVID has wreaked havoc in the lives of the people of Gaza. 53% of the population live below the poverty line. 80% of Gaza relies on external aid to survive, and 20,000 children are now orphans. The future is bleak. Please, don't forget Gaza. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Motala Perfumes, one of the biggest perfume manufacturing houses in Africa, with a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility specializing in designing, creating, developing and producing new scents and matching designer fragrances for all our stores, as well as private labeling for individuals and companies across Africa. Visit your nearest Motala Perfumes store or visit our website at www.motalaperfumes.com for more information on creating your own brand.
Mates Linen pop-in store for these amazing deals. Quilts from 170 Rand. Private collection standard pillows, twin pack from 80 Rand. Pierre Cardin duvet covers from 250 Rand. Assorted scatters from 100 Rand. We are stockers of Linen House range and designer curtains by Stuart Graham. Let Mates Linen turn your house into a home. Mates Linen branded outlet, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban. Call us on 031 209 0176.
أمل خلف الأسوار يتسلل بين النار زرعت فيه الآلام بعزيمته.
The time is just gone 9:32 a.m. on this day of Jummah, and we are still getting reaction out of Gaza on the ceasefire, and we're going across now to Gaza, and we're joined by Dr. Saeed Elnamrouti. Dr. Saeed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome and Jazakallah khairan so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Saeed. And Alhamdulillah, we have learned there is just some relief, obviously, for the people of Gaza as a result of this ceasefire. And just your reaction to the ceasefire. We are led to believe that it has been unconditional, but perhaps there are things that we don't know that you could possibly enlighten us.
Alhamdulillah, first of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good morning for our beloved community in South Africa. So far, we didn't sleep now 10:30 a.m. in the morning, but the people, the population of the Gaza Strip in all Palestine, in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, and in the land of 48, celebrate until after Fajr Salat, and I think if they was able to make it maybe by 6 a.m. they go to get some sleep or some rest. So Alhamdulillah, people without any organized events after they know about the ceasefire, which starts at 2 a.m. today, this Jum'ah, and Jum'ah Mubarak for all of you. They run to the streets, men and women and children, all the Palestinian community, like 10 of thousands, at every single refugee camp, at every single city, in the Gaza Strip, in the West Bank, and of course in Jerusalem, in Sheikh Jarrah, Neighborhood, and in Masjid Aqsa. I think that you saw at the videos how the people celebrate at Al-Aqsa while they make takbir. Today for the Palestinian community and all the land, it's like the first day of Eid. They start with takbir that we used to say in Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Wallah alhamd. So people are very proud. People are very happy of the ceasefire. People are very proud of what, the struggle and the resistance, the Palestinian resistance, the Palestinian community who support, everything. They feel proud that this time, this ceasefire is different from other ceasefire. We have more conditions that they will stoop and release hands on Sheikh Jarrah and Al-Aqsa and the assassination and so on. A lot of the, principle has been agreed upon, and there is guarantee from the Egyptian side, from the Qatarian, from maybe the U.S. We still don't know the accurate details of the ceasefire and all the details of that, but we know that this time was
a very good time. It's like a victory. The patience, the faith, and the people, and the full support of the people. It's the result of what we have seen in the last few hours since 2 a.m. So far. And from the other side, as we see and as we learn from the media, the Israeli media, they are very angry at their government, because they know that they didn't achieve anything, and now we have a very good position. We have our unity in the West Bank, in the Gaza Strip, and in the land of 40 years. This is the first time since long years ago. They tried all the years, over the years, they tried to divide up the division between the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And as you mentioned, from the lands of 40 years, from the other Palestinian parts, West Bank and Gaza. And the Jerusalem, they tried to control Al-Aqsa and Sheikh Jarrah and stealing the houses of the Palestinians. All this at this time did not succeed, and we back to the good point that we are one unit, and we have our unity back, and the Palestinian struggle now is on the table of the Western community, on the UN, and every single person, every single government in the world, not only in the Arab countries or the Muslim countries, but in the Western as well, in the Western countries and in the United States, realize that they have to do something real, something different to solve this problem from the main root. It's not as usual, as I mentioned. It's not about ceasefire. It's not about freedom the Gaza Strip. It's not about releasing the siege and the closure or the Gaza Strip. Although all these stuff are important for us as Palestinians, but now we are talking about solving our problems once and forever. We have the right, according to international law, to live with peace and dignity, to establish our free state Palestine, and to deserve, to the civilization of building our country and doing whatever we want to do to rebuild our country, to rebuild what they have destroyed in the last 11 days. So the people are happy of what happened so far. The people feel like unity today. After 2 hours from now, we have the Salat Jum'ah. There will be Salat Ghaib for the martyrs, and the people will visit the houses that have been destroyed, the injuries, and make dua for their recovery. So, alhamdulillah, everything is okay. People feel happy in spite of the massive destruction, in spite of the 232, as far as I know, of the martyrs, in spite of the almost 2,000 injuries. 50% of all are women and kids and elderly. So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, alhamdulillah.
Yes, alhamdulillah, Dr. Said. And I think what is also important, and what is, and you mentioned this, the unity of the people of Palestine, because this was a collective struggle that in the last 2 weeks, right across Palestine, and also looking at the proud history of the people of Palestine. This is seen as a major victory, because this is the first time that Israel is accepted to
has humanity
is forced to
faced a
accept.
pandemic.
Exactly. That's what happened. Exactly. The Israeli side was make a condition for ceasefire that the Palestinian side has to stop the fire 3 hours or 4 hours, up to 6 hours, 3 up to 6 hours before they declared ceasefire from their side. The Palestinians refused this, and it happened at the same time at 2 a.m. It was mutual between the two sides, with the guarantee of other countries, particularly Egypt, who declared about the ceasefire.
Yes. Now, obviously, the struggle doesn't end here, because the struggle still needs to continue. And earlier on, I spoke to one of the activists out of Gaza, and the point I had made, Dr. Said, is the support from right across the entire world. And we've seen huge support. We've seen massive support. In fact, I think in my lifetime, every time there has been a crisis in Palestine, and looking at international reaction, this time around, this global reaction was completely different footprint. And we see it right across the board, across all specters of society, Muslims, non-Muslims, and also encouraging to note the number of young people, youth, that have now joined the struggle.
Yes, exactly. And let me mention something here. The demonstration that took place in many different countries all over the world, in South Africa and in many other countries in the Muslim world and in the Western community, have to continue because the struggle is not ended. We are talking about solving this problem. We are not talking about, a ceasefire and that's it, so then we stop. I think the struggle should continue. The boycott against the Israelis should continue. The demonstrations in the streets and in front of the Israeli embassies to solve, and other embassies to put more pressure on the Israeli side to withdraw from the Palestinian land according to the international law, and to give freedom to the Palestinian people to re-establish their state and to live with dignity, peace and freedom, inshallah ta'ala.
Yes, and also I think this one other significant thing is when we're talking about the Arab world, and we're talking about particularly countries like Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, those countries that have signed these peace deals with Israel, with this deal of the century. And clearly they have obviously been exposed now. They have been exposed for the hypocrisy in not supporting the Palestinian cause, but also not doing anything at this point in time, throughout this entire crisis in the last 2 weeks.
Yes. Let me be very clear about this issue. I think what happened will change the position of many different Arab countries. The whole Arab countries will change their situation, and they will go to support the Palestinian cause. Everywhere in Arab countries, Saudi and other countries. We know what happened so far, but alhamdulillah, we are very sure that they will change their position, and everything will go okay, inshallah ta'ala. So we want our unity back on the Arab countries and the Muslim countries, and we're pretty sure that all these countries will give support to Palestinian cause once again. After, they will stand to protect Al-Aqsa, to protect the Palestinian people. So what we need to do is to get our unity back. We don't want to talk about division or about disagreement or so. I think this time is the time for unity, to get our unity back with every single Muslim in the world, in the Arab countries, in the Muslim countries, and even all those supporters, the Palestinian cause in the world.
Well, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Dr. Saeed. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us here on Al-Salam Media this morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, and straight away from Dr. Saeed Elnamrouti, we have got Sister Abir Zayad, who is standing by, and Masjid Al-Aqsa. We've seen these celebrations, and as Dr. Saeed Elnamrouti mentioned, the takbir that we normally recite on Eid was recited across Gaza this morning, and also we've heard this in Masjid Al-Aqsa.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sister Abir, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes, welcome, and alhamdulillah, like I said, we've seen already video clips coming through with regard to Masjid Al-Aqsa, the takbir being recited. It is the day of Jum'ah, and if you could just tell us, your thoughts firstly with regard to the ceasefire, and what has been the reaction in Al-Quds regarding the ceasefire.
First, that people in Jerusalem are very happy to stop the war against Gaza and to stop these crimes that is happening against the civilian people in Gaza. People in Jerusalem, of course, they want this to be stopped, and they are happy with that. And of course, we are happy that since this issue began, that Al-Aqsa Mosque is closed in the face of the settlers. Our main issue now that we does not know what will happen in Jerusalem as reaction for present reaction for what already happened during the last few days. And since morning, Israel had started arresting people in Jerusalem. So we are knowing that now it will be harder on Jerusalem people. But even that, we are happy with all the achievements that we had get it inside Jerusalem. So nowadays it will become again a lot of attention in Jerusalem, a lot of pressure on Jerusalem people. We are worried from what is coming in the few days, and with the few days coming, it will show us exactly how is the situation will be inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque and in the old city, especially in the Sheikh Jarrah and Silwan, in other areas. So this is what we are worried about, but we are still happy that the war crime against civilian people in Gaza had stopped.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. And just, Sister Bir, what were the scenes like at the Al-Aqsa Masjid today?
And now, today, a lot of people are coming to Al-Aqsa Mosque for the Jum'ah prayer. Hundreds of buses are coming from the land of 1948, and also the people from Jerusalem. I'm now in the old city, my way to Al-Aqsa Mosque. There is a lot of people that are coming to Al-Aqsa, which make us feel happy with all of this.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
But of course, we does not know what will happen after the prayer.
Exactly.
So we are expecting to be attention, and maybe it will be some clashes. We are not sure. At morning there was some clashes at the Damascus gate, but inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, even that where there was a lot of flags and a lot of statements from the people, but there was no clashes inside the mosque.
Well, inshallah, we trust and hope that it is going to be an inspiring, it's going to be a very peaceful Jummah, inshallah, for the people in Masjid Al-Aqsa. And Jazakallah so much for that update, Sister Bir. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.